Right, welcome to the blurry video. This camera doesn't do close-ups. This thing here that I have built and am now showing off is something I named the SiliVolt, and it is just a bench power supply. It runs off 2 batteries there, you can see in the back. But it's a very specialised bench power supply. Its sole purpose is component testing, specifically for testing dodgy bits off eBay. The top 2 terminals are for a built-in multimeter with readings displayed on the right. It's basically a combined volt, meter, ammeter and dynameter. The bottom 2 are the built-in power supply, and on the left of the display, which you can not read through the blurring, it's showing the voltage, current, power and effective resistance. And in between them is a Schottky diode, or so the seller claimed. That is currently reading 0 volts, 0.00 milliamps, 0 milliwatts and 0 ohms. Now watch. Look at that. 1 millivolt. I can be that precise in setting this thing. I can increase this little by little. 3 millivolts, 8 millivolts, 40 millivolts. See what I'm doing here? I'm just testing when does this diode start to conduct. With a Schottky diode it should be very low. Oh, there we go. At 230 millivolts it just barely begins to conduct at 0.01 milliamp, and yes, it is that sensitive. But I want to know when it's going to conduct a useful current, say 1 milliamp. So let's take it up. What kind of voltage drop do I get at 1 milliamp? 0.364 volts. Well, that's I would expect better from a Schottky, and I'm pretty sure this is a NOT key. It's a regular rectifier valve that someone has missold. And I can go up further. See, the voltage is at 10 milliamps, 0.6 volts. Yeah, 0.6 volts at 10 milliamps. This is not a Schottky diode. Oh, you get the idea. It's small, it's very nice and compact, runs with a couple of 9-volt batteries, and it can test components. It can measure diode forward drop, it can measure a Zener voltage up to a maximum of 5 volts, it can measure resistance, and in conjunction with a second power supply and the use of these top terminals, it can actually measure the resistance of a MOSFET as the gate voltage is raised from 0 to 5 volts. N channel only. Yeah. So it's an all-in-one component tester. Oh, it can measure transistor gain, of course, and transistor collector drop on bipolars. Useful thing. I have released the schematics of the power supply part. You can see it is capable of going from 0 to, yeah, this is a 10 turn pot, 0 to, yeah, 2 volts at 200 milliamps, at which point that diode is dropping, dissipating half a watt and probably won't last long. Come on, diode out. There we go. Or 4.9 volts with no load. So it's not a high current supply, but for these purposes it doesn't have to be. And it actually would be rather high current if those batteries were not really, really nasty. If you want a component tester like this, I will provide the schematic for the power supply part. The display is just your basic Arduino, ADC, a couple of shunts, not much to it really. And if you buy your components off eBay, I think this is quite an essential tool to have in a nice 3D printed case.